Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive. And today, we're going to help you prep for an interview for an advertising copywriter position.
Sounds good.
So we've got a bunch of resources here from RoleCatcher, including career guides, interview guides, even AI tools to help you get ready.
Awesome.
So let's dive in. So what does an advertising copywriter actually do?
Well, according to this career guide for advertising copywriters from RoleCatcher, they're responsible for developing engaging and persuasive copy for a variety of platforms. So, everything from websites and social media to print ads and video scripts.
Oh, wow. That's quite a range.
It is, yeah.
So it sounds like this role is really creative, but it's also about understanding clients, conducting research, and being adaptable,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely. You got to be able to really tap into the client's needs and target audience and then translate that into compelling messaging. At the end of the day, it's about driving sales and building brand awareness.
Right. It's not just about being clever with words.
Yeah, exactly.
It's out achieving specific goals for the client. So I'm curious, how does technology kind of play into all of this? I mean, the advertising landscape is constantly changing, right?
No, totally. And that's where, staying up to date with the latest trends and tools is absolutely essential for copywriters.
Right.
So, think about social media algorithms, AI-powered copywriting software, the ways that people are consuming content are constantly evolving. So copywriters really got to be on top of their game.
So true. And I know RoleCatcher actually offers some insights into all of that
They do, yeah.
in their career guides, right?
Yes.
So let's get tactical. Let's dive into some of those interview questions that could make or break your chances.
Let's do it.
Okay, first up, can you walk me through your creative process when developing advertising copy? So what are interviewers really looking for with this question?
So with this question, interviewers really want to see that you have a structured approach to your work. It's not enough to just be creative. You got to show them that you can take a client's brief, translate it into a compelling message, and then deliver results.
Right, so they want to know how you actually turn an idea into a finished product.
Absolutely. So a great way to approach this is to talk about your research process. So how do you identify the target audience? What are their needs, their desires? Then, dive into your brainstorming techniques. How do you generate ideas? How do you select the ones that are most effective for that specific campaign? And then, of course, how do you refine and polish your copy to ensure it's persuasive and impactful?
That makes sense. And I think this is a great time to mention RoleCatcher's AI tools, right?
Absolutely. So RoleCatcher actually offers AI-powered feedback on your answers, so you can really refine your responses and tailor them to specific job roles.
Oh, wow.
It's like having a virtual interview coach right in your pocket.
That's incredible. So you could actually practice your answer to this question and get AI-powered feedback on how well you're explaining your process, right?
Exactly. It's all about being prepared and showing the interviewer that you have a clear understanding of the role in the industry.
Got it. Structure, research, and a little AI magic from RoleCatcher. All right, what's the next question we should tackle?
Let's look at this one. How do you stay up to date with advertising trends and techniques?
Ah, the classic staying relevant question.
Yeah.
I feel like they want to see if we're just scrolling through social media all day or if we're actually learning new things.
Exactly. So this is your chance to showcase your passion for the industry. Name specific sources you follow, like Adweek, The Drum, maybe some industry blogs or podcasts like this one.
Okay, good to know.
Show them you're actively engaging with the latest trends.
So it's not enough to just say, I read stuff online. I need to name drop like a pro.
You got it. Mention those industry publications, websites, thought leaders you follow, but, more than just listing them. Explain how you apply this knowledge.
Oh, that's a good point.
Have you experimented with a new ad format on social media? Tried out a storytelling technique that you learned from a recent article? Those are the things that really impress the interviewer.
Right. Show them you're not just passively consuming information, but that you're actively using it to improve your skills.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Research, industry sources, and actually applying what you've learned. What should we avoid saying when answering this question?
Don't be too general. So avoid vague answers like, I read articles online or I attend conferences. Be specific, name those sources.
Got it. Be specific.
And don't mention sources that have nothing to do with advertising. So no reality TV shows or celebrity gossip blogs unless they're somehow relevant to the industry.
Right. Stick to the industry relevant stuff. Okay, so we've covered showcasing our creative process and our commitment to staying up to date. What's next on our interview question hit list?
Let's tackle a question that really gets to the heart of working with clients. How do you balance creativity with meeting the client's objectives?
Uh-oh, the classic battle between artistic vision and client demands. It's like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole sometimes.
I like that analogy. But with this question, you need to show the interviewer that you understand both sides of the coin. Start by emphasizing the importance of understanding the client's brand, their goals, and their target audience. Explain how you use this information as a framework for your creative process.
So it's about working within constraints, but still finding ways to be innovative and original, right?
Exactly. And it's helpful to share examples of how you've successfully done this in the past.
Oh, right, yeah.
Maybe you found a unique way to convey a client's message, or you came up with a campaign concept that was both creative and on brand. Those kinds of examples really demonstrate your ability to strike that balance.
That makes sense. So what are some red flags we should avoid when answering this question? What are some things we shouldn't say?
Yeah, so don't make it seem like you prioritize your creative vision over the client's needs. Clients are hiring you to help them achieve their business goals, not to create art for art's sake. You need to demonstrate that you can work collaboratively and find solutions that meet both your creative standards and the client's objective.
Okay, so avoid saying things like, my art is too precious to compromise.
Yeah, probably not the best approach. And don't be too rigid.
Right.
You got to be willing to adapt your ideas based on feedback. The best copywriters are the ones who can listen, incorporate suggestions, and come up with solutions that work for everybody involved.
This is where RoleCatcher's network feature could come in handy, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. So building a strong network is essential in this industry. And RoleCatcher's network feature can help you connect with other professionals, get advice, learn about best practices, and really expand your horizons.
That's a great point. Those connections can definitely provide valuable insights. Okay, so we've covered 3 tough questions already. Feeling pretty good about this. What's next?
Let's move on to a question that gives you a chance to really showcase your experience. Can you give an example of a successful advertising campaign you were a part of?
Okay, time to brag a little. What's the best way to approach this one?
So first, choose a campaign that really showcases your skills and is relevant to the job you're applying for.
Right.
Then, don't just describe the campaign, tell a story.
Ooh, I like that. Tell a story. How can we make our story captivating for the interviewer?
Set the scene. What were the objectives? Who was the target audience? What were the challenges you faced? And then walk them through your creative process. How did you come up with the concept? What were the key messages? How did you execute the campaign across different channels?
And of course, we need to talk about the results.
Right. Absolutely. Quantify your success. Did you increase brand awareness? Drive website traffic? Boost sales? Share those metrics, the data that demonstrates the impact of your work.
Okay, so story, process, data-backed results. What should we avoid when answering this question?
So don't choose a campaign that was a flop or one where your role was minimal.
Right. So picking a project where I just, wrote one line of copy is probably not going to cut it.
No, exactly. And avoid taking all the credit. If it was a team effort, acknowledge everybody's contributions.
Great advice. What's the next question we should dive into?
All right, let's tackle. How do you handle constructive criticism or feedback on your work?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Nobody likes hearing that their work isn't perfect.
I know, right?
Huh.
But this question is all about showcasing your professionalism and your ability to learn and grow from feedback.
Okay.
You want to show them you're open to feedback and you see it as an opportunity to improve. Explain how you listen to feedback, ask clarifying questions, and use those insights to make your work even better.
It's about showing that you can separate your ego from your work and just focus on creating the best possible outcome.
Exactly.
So what kind of example could we share for this question?
You could talk about a specific instance where you received feedback and then used it to make significant improvements. Maybe a client suggested a different approach and you were able to adapt your copy to better meet their needs, something like that.
Oh, yeah. Good idea. What should we avoid saying when answering this question? What are some red flags?
So the biggest red flag is being defensive.
Oh, yeah.
Avoid acting like you're perfect, that you don't need any feedback. Everyone can learn and grow, and showing humility is key.
Okay, no defensiveness, just humility. Got it. Now, this next question kind of makes me nervous. Can you describe a time when you had to work under a tight deadline?
Yeah, deadlines. This one comes up a lot. It's all about showcasing your ability to handle pressure, prioritize your tasks, and deliver high-quality work when the clock is ticking.
Yeah. Okay. So how do we make a good impression with this one?
So share a specific example. Outline the situation, the tasks involved, and the ridiculously short timeline you had to work with.
Okay.
Then, explain the strategies you use to manage your time effectively and meet the deadline. Did you break down the project into smaller chunks? Did you delegate responsibilities? Give the interviewer a glimpse into your process.
Right. It's about being organized and efficient, even when things get stressful.
Exactly. And if there were any, unexpected obstacles along the way, talk about how you overcame them. It shows that you can think on your feet, find solutions even under pressure.
Okay. Specific example, time management strategies, and a little bit of problem-solving prowess. What are some things to avoid saying?
So don't sound easily overwhelmed or panicked by deadlines. That doesn't exactly inspire confidence.
Right.
And avoid saying that you cut corners or compromise quality to meet a deadline. You want to show them that you're committed to delivering your best work no matter what.
This is a good time to mention RoleCatcher's AI feedback system again, wouldn't you say?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So you can actually practice your answer to this deadline question, record yourself, get specific feedback on how you sound, and then make adjustments as needed.
Wow. That's pretty amazing. Okay, we've covered some challenging questions about deadlines, criticism, and client collaboration. What other interview gems are we going to unearth today?
All right, let's move on to a question that really tests your understanding of the art of persuasion. How do you ensure that your writing is persuasive and effective?
Okay, time to channel my inner Don Draper. What are the key points to hit when answering this question?
All right, so start by explaining the fundamental elements of persuasive writing. Understanding your target audience, using language that resonates with them, addressing their needs and desires. It's about crafting a message that really connects.
Right, it's not just about being clever or witty. It's about connecting with the reader on a deeper level.
Exactly.
So what are some specific techniques we can mention?
Well, highlight the use of research and data to support your claims. Explain how you use storytelling, emotional appeals to make the copy more engaging and memorable. Data and logic are great, but sometimes you need to pull at the heartstrings to really capture attention.
Right, make them laugh, make them try, make them buy the product.
Exactly. Now, when answering this question, make sure you're not just focusing on persuasion tactics.
Okay.
You got to consider the client's goals, the overall message.
Right. It's about being persuasive in a way that aligns with the brand and achieves a specific outcome.
Exact.
Got it. What about conciseness? How do we talk about that?
Well, that brings us to another common interview question. How do you ensure that your writing is concise and impactful?
Okay, let's hear it.
So this is all about demonstrating your ability to write with clarity and precision, to convey your message in the most efficient and effective way possible. Think of it as getting to the point without sacrificing impact.
Right, because nobody wants to read a wall of text. We need to be clear and to the point.
Yeah. So how do we showcase our mastery of concise writing? What do we say?
Explain concise writing as using the fewest words possible to communicate effectively. Describe your editing process, how you ruthlessly eliminate unnecessary words and phrases.
Right. Every word has to earn its place.
Yes. Talk about your ability to distill complex information into easy-to-understand chunks.
Okay.
And of course, avoid using jargon or overly technical terms that the audience might not understand. The goal is to communicate clearly, not to confuse or alienate the reader.
Makes sense. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here, but before we move on, I wanted to circle back to something we mentioned earlier, RoleCatcher's AI-powered tools. Can you elaborate on how those can actually help us with these interview questions?
Absolutely. So RoleCatcher's AI can analyze your interview answers and give you personalized feedback. It's like having a virtual interview coach helping you refine your responses. And the best part is, it can even tailor your answers to specific job roles.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
So yeah, it's a really valuable tool. Okay, I'm definitely going to check out RoleCatcher's AI tools. But for now, let's continue our deep dive into these interview questions.
Sounds good. Welcome back. We're ready to jump back into prepping you for that advertising copywriter interview.
Let's do it. I'm feeling pumped after that last round of questions.
All right, well, let's see if you can handle this next one. What are some of your favorite advertising campaigns and why?
Oh, I like this one. It's like we get to geek out a bit about great advertising.
It is fun, yeah. But remember, it's also a chance to showcase your understanding of what makes a campaign truly successful.
Okay, so how do I choose the right campaigns to talk about? Should I stick to the classics, like the iconic Old Spice commercials or the Nike Just Do It campaign?
Those are definitely great examples, but try to go a little deeper. Think about campaigns that are relevant to the specific job you're applying for.
Okay. So if it's a social media-focused role, I should highlight campaigns that were really successful on platforms like TikTok or Instagram.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to mention a lesser-known campaign that really impressed you with its creativity or its unique approach.
Right. It's about showing them that I'm not just following the crowd, but that I have a discerning eye for great advertising.
Exactly. Now remember, don't just describe the campaigns, analyze them.
Okay.
Explain why you chose them. What were the objectives? Who was the target audience? What made the messaging so effective?
So it's not just about saying, I like this ad because it's funny. I need to explain why it's funny and how the humor connects with the target audience.
Exactly. Show them you're thinking critically about the work, that you understand the strategy behind it.
Got it. Analyze. Don't just summarize.
Now, what should we avoid saying when answering this question?
Good question. What are the red flags here?
Don't be overly critical of other campaigns. It's fine to point out things that you think could have been done better, but try to keep the focus on the positive aspects of the campaigns you choose.
Okay, focus on the good, be specific in my analysis, and relate the campaigns back to the job I'm applying for.
You got it. Now, let's tackle one that's a little less fun. What are your salary expectations?
Ugh, the dreaded salary question. It always feels so awkward. How do I handle this one without feeling like I'm selling myself short or, asking for too much?
All right, here's the key. Preparation is key. Before the interview, research salary ranges for similar roles in your area. Websites like Glassdoor or Salary.com can be really helpful for this.
Oh, that's a good tip. So I actually have some real numbers to work with, not just a vague idea of what I want to earn.
Exactly. And consider your own experience and skills. If you have specialized skills or a proven track record of success, you can definitely justify a higher salary.
So if I have experience with AI copywriting tools or I've won awards for my work, I should make sure to mention that.
Absolutely. Highlight those unique skills and accomplishments. It shows you're bringing something valuable to the table.
Okay, I'm taking notes. So we've done our research, considered our qualifications, and have a salary range in mind. Now what?
Okay.
What should I avoid saying when discussing salary?
Okay, first and foremost, do not lowball yourself.
Yeah.
Know your worth, and don't be afraid to ask for what you deserve.
Right, I don't want to undervalue my talent. What else?
Don't give a specific number right away. It's better to provide a range, that gives you some flexibility during the negotiation process.
Okay, so no lowballing, provide a range,
Huh.
and be prepared to negotiate. Got it. What's next?
All right, get ready for this classic. What is your greatest weakness?
Oh man, this question is a landmine. It feels like a trick question. How do I answer this honestly without making myself sound, incompetent?
All right, here's the strategy. Choose a weakness that is relevant to the job, but that you're actively working to improve.
Okay.
So for example, if you tend to get bogged down in the details and struggle with meeting deadlines, you could explain how you're using project management tools or, time blocking techniques to improve your time management skills.
Oh, I like that. So it's about being self-aware and proactive about addressing those weaknesses.
Exactly. It shows that you're committed to growth and development.
Right. And it actually connects back to that working under a tight deadline question we discussed earlier.
Exactly.
Okay, so I need to choose a real weakness, not just some fake, generic one.
Definitely. And avoid being too vague. Don't just say, I work too hard or I'm a perfectionist. Be specific. Provide real examples of how this weakness has impacted your work in the past.
Got it. No deal-breaker weaknesses, no vague cliches, and always focus on the positive steps I'm taking to improve. Okay, I think I can handle that. What's next?
All right, now for the big picture question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh, this would always feel so daunting. 5 years is a long time. What if I don't have everything figured out yet?
It's totally okay to acknowledge that your plans may evolve, but you should have a general idea of where you want to go in your career.
Okay.
And remember, it's a good idea to tie your answer back to the company and the role you're applying for.
So I could say something like, I'm really passionate about copywriting, and I'm excited about the opportunity to grow my skills at this company. In 5 years, I hope to be a senior copywriter, leading creative projects and, mentoring junior team members, something like that.
That's a great example. It shows ambition, but also demonstrates your commitment to the company.
Okay, so be specific, connect it back to the company, show ambition, but also be realistic.
Got it. What are some things to avoid saying when answering this question?
Don't be too vague, like saying you just want to be happy. Be specific about your aspirations. And try to avoid sounding like you're using this job as a stepping stone to something else.
Okay, so even if I dream of starting my own agency one day, I should probably keep that to myself for now.
Probably a good idea. You want to focus on your genuine interest in this particular company and the role you're applying for.
Okay, no vague answers, no hidden agendas, and keep the focus on the company I'm interviewing with. All right, I'm feeling much better about tackling this question. All right, good. Now get ready for this next one. It's like the closing argument of the interview.
Uh-oh. What is it?
Why should we hire you?
Wow, that is a big one. It feels like the culmination of the entire interview.
It is. This is your chance to summarize all your qualifications, your skills, your experience, and explain why you're the absolute best candidate for the job.
Okay, how do I knock this one out of the park? What are the key points?
Highlight your unique strengths and how they align with the specific requirements of the role. Don't be afraid to toot your own horn a little.
Okay, toot toot. So if I have experience with a specific type of copywriting, like email marketing or social media ads, I should definitely emphasize that.
Yes, and back it up with specific examples of how you've used those skills to achieve results.
Right. Show, don't just tell.
Now, what else should we keep in mind? Reiterate your enthusiasm. Let them know you're genuinely excited about the prospect of working there.
Okay, highlight my unique skills, back it up with examples, and express my genuine enthusiasm. Got it. What should I avoid saying? What are some red flags here?
Okay, don't just repeat what's on your resume. Go deeper, provide context and examples, and avoid being arrogant or, negative about other candidates.
Right, I want to come across as confident, but also humble and respectful. Got it. Okay, I think I'm ready for this one.
All right, good. Now, be prepared for this final curveball. Do you have any questions for us?
Oh, I always forget about this part. My mind usually goes blank after answering all their questions.
I know, it's easy to get caught up in your own answers, but having a few questions prepared can really make a difference.
Okay.
It shows you're engaged, curious, and genuinely interested in the role and the company.
Okay, so what are some good questions to ask? Should I just stick to salary and benefits?
Hold off on those for now.
Okay.
Focus on questions that demonstrate your interest in the company and the work itself.
Okay.
So you could ask about the company culture, the team dynamics, or maybe opportunities for growth and professional development.
Oh, good ideas. So something like, what's the day-to-day work environment like for the copywriting team? Or maybe, what are some of the biggest challenges the team is currently facing?
Those are great examples. And don't be afraid to ask about the next steps in the hiring process. It shows you're proactive and eager.
Right. It shows I'm interested and ready to move forward. What are some questions I should avoid asking?
Avoid asking questions that you could easily find the answers to on the company website. Do your research beforehand. And avoid asking about salary and benefits too early in the process.
Okay, got it. No lazy questions, and save the salary talk for later. All right, we've covered a lot of ground in this section. Any other final tips?
Yeah, let's talk about how RoleCatcher can help you take your interview prep to the next level.
Yes. We've mentioned their AI-powered tools a few times, but I'd love to hear more about how they can give us that extra edge.
Okay, so beyond providing career guidance and interview practice, RoleCatcher's AI can actually help you optimize your resume and cover letter.
Really? Tell me more.
Yeah, you know how many companies use those applicant tracking systems?
Not really. What are those?
So basically, it's software that filters through tons of applications.
No.
They scan resumes for specific keywords that match the job description. And if your resume doesn't have the right keywords, it might get rejected before a human even sees it.
Wow, that's a little scary. So how can RoleCatcher's AI help with that?
RoleCatcher's AI-powered resume builder analyzes job descriptions, identifies the key skills and keywords, and then suggests ways to incorporate those into your resume.
So it's not just about making my resume look pretty, it's about making it ATS-friendly and highlighting the skills that really matter for that specific role.
Exactly, and it can even help you create different versions of your resume tailored to different job applications.
That's incredible. I need to check this out. Okay, we've covered so much from analyzing ad campaigns to optimizing our resumes for those ATS systems. I feel like I've learned so much.
You too. And before we wrap up this section, I want to emphasize one final point. Practice makes perfect.
You're absolutely right. Even with all the best tips and tools, I still need to put in the work and rehearse my answers.
And that's where RoleCatcher's AI-powered interview practice feature comes in. You can practice your answers through video and receive AI-powered feedback on your delivery, your content, even your body language.
It's like having a virtual mock interview without the pressure of a real person watching me.
Exactly. So take a deep breath, review everything we've discussed, and get ready to crush that interview.
I'm ready. Bring on those tough questions. We'll be right back for the final part of our deep dive.
Welcome back to our deep dive. We're in the home stretch now, ready to finish strong.
I'm ready. I feel like I've already gotten a masterclass in interview prep. What else is there?
Well, we've talked a lot about, impressing the interviewer with your answers. But remember, the interview is a two-way street.
Oh, right, right. It's easy to forget that.
It's also your chance to figure out if the company and the role are actually a good fit for you. So true. I've definitely been in situations where I was so focused on getting the job that I didn't stop to think if I'd actually be happy there.
Yeah, we've all been there. And that's where asking thoughtful questions really comes in.
Right, right. So beyond the usual questions about, company culture and career growth, what are some really insightful questions that can help me get a feel for the company and the role?
Okay, let's get strategic. How about this? What are some of the biggest challenges the team is currently facing?
That's a good one.
It shows you're interested in the real work involved.
Right, and it shows I'm thinking about how I can contribute to solutions. I like that.
Another good one is, what are the company's values and how do they actually play out in the day-to-day work environment?
Oh, that's so important. I mean, company values are one thing, but how they actually live those values is another.
Exactly. You want to make sure your personal values align with the company's.
Definitely. All right, what about questions related to the creative process? Okay, how about this? Can you describe the feedback process for copywriting? How involved are clients in the creative development?
Ooh, I like that one. It gives me a sense of how much creative freedom I'll have.
Yeah, you don't want to be micromanaged, but you also want to make sure there's open communication and a healthy feedback loop.
Totally. And of course, I should ask about professional development, right?
Absolutely. So you could ask something like, are there any training programs or mentorship opportunities to help copywriters grow their skills?
Oh, that's a great question. It shows I'm eager to learn and develop my skills. Okay, so we've got some great questions to ask. Any other last-minute advice as we wrap up?
Just remember, confidence is key. Believe in yourself, your skills, your passion for this field.
You're right. I know it sounds cheesy, but confidence really does make a difference.
And remember everything we've talked about today. Preparation is crucial. Use the insights from this deep dive, check out RoleCatcher's amazing resources, and practice, practice, practice.
Honestly, RoleCatcher has been the real star of this episode. Their career guides, the sample interview questions, the AI tools, they're game changers for anyone prepping for an interview.
Couldn't agree more. And remember, the interview is a two-way street. Make sure this company is the right fit for you too.
So true. Sometimes the best decision is realizing a job isn't a good match and moving on.
Exactly. So go into that interview with confidence, preparation, and a healthy dose of curiosity. You got this.
Thanks for all the great advice, and thanks to everyone for joining us on the deep dive. We'll see you next time for another insightful exploration.